Well, the last thing we want to mention about how we love God with all of our heart and soul, he also mentions the mind. So, Chuck, if someone were to say to you, I'm not sure I love God with my mind, how would you describe to that person what would go into loving God with your mind?
It would be to love God according to the truth. And so to make sure that your mind is filled with the truth about God, that you're not just loving, sentimental notions or your own kind of composition of what you think God is like or how the world would describe God, but how God describes himself. And so to be careful to do that, you would want to come to Scripture regularly and inform yourself about what God has said, and also to help correct notions that get introduced into your thought processes, so that you're thinking the best thoughts about God, the thoughts that God himself has said about himself. You have a right picture, a mental picture, if you will, of this is the God that I love.
So really simple things could be expressions of that. Studying, reading good books on passages, spending some money on some commentaries, memorizing, meditating on, trying to fit together the great things that we're reading in Scripture so we don't just have bits and pieces. The hard work of thought, but done for love. I mean, there's a lot of reasons that we do thinking. Sometimes, we're good students because we want to excel. We want to be able to go to the Bible class and have the right answer. It's a little embarrassing if someone, asks you a question and you just stare at them. But this is something that's done for love of God. So we come to some practical applications, and we want to use the time that we have left just to hit a few of these. And one of these that I think would be obvious is this really is the supreme test of the quality of our religion. Or we could say it this way: is our religion just religion, or is it true Christianity? And one of the tests that we can offer ourselves is this: are the things we are doing, duties and devotional, tasks, acts of service, are these expressions of love to God? Are they part of delighting in a person? Another application. What if you use this sermon to examine the degree of your guilt if you are still holding Christ at arm's length? So, Chuck, if they come to this sermon and they read about love to God, how would you point a lost person who's like maybe saying, well, look, I'm pretty good. I mean, I read this book. I get it. How would you point a lost person to use this sermon in a way that would give them a more accurate measure of how serious their sin is?
Well, one question you could ask is, yes, but do you love God? I mean, if your heart is drawn toward that which is most attractive, has your heart been changed to see and love him and see in him your great good? So you say that I'm not that sinful, I'm doing pretty good. Is it because you love God, or is it because you love yourself? Is it because you love your reputation?
Yeah, so there are a lot of lesser motives that cause a person to show up at church and keep their nose clean at work and not destroy their family.
Yeah.
Those don't require love to God. Like you said, love to self. Any person kind of thinking straightly would say, these certain sins will destroy the happiness that I've sought, so I'm going to stay away from these. But then there are 100 other ways of living for myself that I'm fine with. Well, thank you for watching the clip. We hope that it was helpful for you. If you want to hear the full audio of that podcast, you can find it on any of your favorite podcast apps.